The U.S. Department of Agriculture announced an additional $16 billion in aid for farmers as the trade war between the U.S. and China carries on and tariffs stay in place. However, farmers say bailouts are not enough in the president's trade war. Joining us with more on this is Yahoo Finance's Adriana Belmonte with the details on all of this. And Adriana, good to have you here. I read a quote that you put in the article about this in which a farmer was saying, this doesn't do enough. Why not?
So essentially what he was saying is, it is appreciated. Like everybody I talked to stressed how necessary it is, how they were grateful, but they were getting to the point that, how long can this go on for? Is there going to be a point where the government says, okay, we're done paying you? And then he said, at that point, is there going to be a trade deal in place? If there's not, then what happens to us? So, they were hopeful in the beginning that that there was going to be a resolution to come out of this, but now they're becoming a little bit more skeptical. That was the key word that he stressed when I talked to him.
And at the same time, a lot of the farmers in the Midwest right now have been victim of some pretty terrible weather this season. So this is sort of added to that. And I wonder if that sort of also shortens the effectiveness or lessens the effectiveness of an aid package.
Yeah, so from what I've gathered, it seems that they were already having troubles, just soybean growth in general. Production's been down a little bit. Then you had the flooding that happened, and then there's this trade war on top of it. And there was one person quoted as saying, "I don't know if I'm going to survive coming out of this. How long are we going to last for?" And there was somebody who's a multi-generation farmer that's been going on for years, and he doesn't know how long his farm is going to last and his family because of it.
So, Adriana, I'm curious about, we know that this package is going to be available for farmers, but is it enough given all the issues that we've seen, not just over the past few months, but over the past few years as well? There were previous versions or iterations of this package as well. Remember when we were debating the whole soybean issue? Do farmers feel like net on the whole, they've been compensated appropriately given the size of the current aid package?
Yeah, so when there was 2 rounds last time, and by February 2019, it had reached $7.7 billion in aid. And, they said it, again, they stressed how appreciated it was, and they thought, okay, this is gonna hold us over. So I think for a lot of them, I don't wanna say that they didn't give it much thought, but in the back of their minds, they're like, okay, well, this is gonna, resolve itself soon. And now they're wondering what's going on, is this going to work out, and how long can this hold me over for? That's another big question.
So Adriana, I'm just curious about overall sentiment among the farmers, because we know a lot of these farmers originally voted for Trump in 2016. A lot of the people that have spoken out have said, this seems like overall this trade war is going to be beneficial to them in the long run, even though they are hurting now. What have you heard sort of on the ground?
Yeah, so in the beginning, every time I talked to farmers, I would always ask, during the interview, so how, what's the sentiment like towards the Trump administration? Is there still, this undying loyalty towards him? Because they were very, still loyal despite everything going on. And eventually it just seemed like it started to wane more and more. And then, when I talked to them yesterday, a lot of them are saying, this kind of seems like it's all talk. One person went on the record saying, this kind of seems like they're realizing middle America, they're the ones responsible for getting Trump elected. They realize they have to save face, but they're kind of questioning if they actually mean it.
Yeah, and we talked to a Nebraska farmer also who's still supportive of President Trump, but it seems like a lot of the folks you're talking to are kind of starting to change their minds, perhaps. Thank you, Adriana. Appreciate it.